everyone, how's it going? So in case you have just joined me, I'm making a video every day in the month of November, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than the stuff I usually make. And that's because I came across a quote that I used to read and enjoy quite a lot, and I want to share it with you. And I have a feeling that it's going to resonate a little bit more with those of you who may be a little bit more on the creative side. But having said that, I think any of you guys who are watching this who are students, perhaps in the sciences or in the medical field, I hope you can take something away from this too. So you may have already come across the quote before, but it is a quote by Ira Glass, who is an author and also a radio personality. I'll read the quote to you first, and then I will share with you why it's such a favourite of mine. Or I guess what the significance is for me personally. Alright, let me just search it up, give me a moment. Nobody tells this to the people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is a gap. For the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you are just starting out or you are still in this phase, you got to know that it's normal, and the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week you will finish one story. It is only by going through a volume of work that you will close the gap, and your work will be as good as your ambitions. And I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've met. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just got to fight your way through. Ah, I love this quote. And I can't imagine any of you who are watching this video now would have watched me, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when I had another channel. And the channel that I had originally before this was a channel more focusing on creative stuff, so more arty stuff and more just generally creative videos. And I remember reading this quote and feeling really inspired by it, but what I think is interesting is that reading this back now, it still kind of applies to where I am personally in medicine, in medical school. I still think that it's the ideal I have in my head of the kind of student that I want to be and the work that I want to do. I think it's having that ideal that makes me want to continue pushing to be able to close that gap, you know? And I've spoken about the gap on multiple occasions on my video, in my channel, on my videos, about how one of the main reasons why we tend to lose motivation and we tend to become a bit overwhelmed and stressed when it comes to studying is because there is a ideal of where we want to be, and we may often end up being here as our starting line. And that's what causes a lot of distress. That's what that gap is. And I just found it funny that I've spoken about that concept quite a lot, and about how as a student, the closer you get to closing that gap, the more competent you feel, and as a result, the more confident you feel. And the more you will see this, I guess, progressive snowballing effect. But I just find it funny that I've been speaking about that quite a lot recently on my channel, and the whole concept of the gap, I suppose, must have come from this quote years ago that I've clearly, I guess, forgotten about, but it's still at the back of my mind somewhere. But that's all I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to keep this video quite brief, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Does this resonate with you in any way? Can you relate to this when it comes to your studying or your creative work or anything else that you happen to be doing at the moment? I'd genuinely be really curious to know. Alright, my lovelies, I will leave it there, and I will see you tomorrow.